I want you to pause for a second and think about a moment from your past. Now, before you get ahead, I don't want you to think about one that you're the most proud of or the one that's the most exciting. I don't want the highlight reel version that you've concocted or put together like it's a Monday morning sports show. I want you to think about a moment that you are maybe embarrassed by. Maybe it was something you said or a decision you made. It's the version of yourself that showed up when the pressure got high and you didn't handle it the way you wish you had. Okay, we're on the same page? You got it? Okay, good. Now I want to ask you something. Is that moment the full story of who you are? Or is it just a moment in time, a page, or maybe even a chapter in the book of your life, in a story that becomes ultimately you? Because I've seen too many of us are walking around letting one chapter, one moment, one page narrate the whole book. Welcome back, guys, to the Emmanuel Dr. EG3 podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel George, and most folks around here just call me Dr. EG3. This is a space where I talk about life, I talk about growth, and the possibility of you becoming. You know, the real kind of becoming, the kind that requires you to be honest, you to be reflective, and to learn how to carry responsibility without losing yourself in the process. And today, I want to talk about something that doesn't get enough credit, or how about this? It's just not said enough. You are not your worst day. And here's what, and I just want us to know like three main points. I'm going to try to be quick with you guys today. But the first point of this topic that I want to talk about is the mistake is merely a data point, it's not your identity. Because here's what I've noticed with high performers, high growth oriented people, we're usually harder on ourselves than anyone else ever can be. Now, that doesn't mean when they say something we don't feel it or we don't chill a little bit once the response comes. But here's the deal, we replay it over and over again in our minds. We analyze it from every angle. We ask ourselves, how could we possibly have done that, said that, or even could even been that person? Who is that? And somewhere in that loop of analyzing, something really dangerous happens. We stop treating that mistake as something from what we did, but then start treating it as evidence of who we are. But the truth is, it's merely a data point. That mistake is just data. It tells you something about where you were in that moment, about your capacity, your emotional state, maybe your readiness in that situation. It doesn't tell you the ceiling of who you ultimately can be. Now, the second point is I want us to know is that the shame of the experience keeps you stuck. But when you accept the accountability, it helps you to move forward with it. Because, see, there's a unique and special difference between accountability and shame. And it's important for us to know the difference. See, accountability says, I did something that may have caused some hurt or harm. I need to understand it. I need to address it. But ultimately, I need to do better going forward. Ultimately, I learned something. Accountability is forward facing, it's honest, it's actually an act of strength. Whereas shame says, I am the harm, and shame collapses the behavior into your identity. And see, when you start to embody and feel that you're becoming the problem, there's no solution in that. There's only punishment. Shame doesn't motivate change. Shame actually just makes you retreat, it makes you hide. And when you're hiding, you can't grow. The work is not about to try to avoid accountability. The work is actually choosing accountability over shame every single time. Third point is someone is truly watching how you handle your moments. You guys have heard that song. It always feels like somebody's watching me. Whew, that was rough. But it is true. And I want to offer you a reframe. Your hardest moments, the ones that you wish you could take back, they're not only about you. They're an opportunity for you to model something for the other people that are in your life. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about the mistake, right? The mistake, is obviously something that you needed to grow from and people can see you as an example. But it's really about what do you do after the mistake? When you own it without crumbling. Maybe when you apologize without any self destruction. Maybe when you can dust yourself off and get back up and keep moving forward and reclaiming the integrity that you had. That is a lesson for someone in your life that needs to see it. It might be one of your kids, it might be a colleague or someone on your team. It might be a friend who is watching to see if redemption is actually possible. See, your worst day, when it's handled with grace, can become someone else's permission to believe that they can recover too. Now, I know this was quick, but I do have a challenge for you. Since we've already identified that moment, I want you to think about how you've been allowing it to define you up until this point. I want you to write it down, not to torture yourself, not to create evidence, but just to name it. Then I want you to ask yourself some questions. First is, what is it that I'm actually carrying in this moment that's contributing to how I show up? Second, what did I learn from that experience that I could not have learned any other way? Because that mistake is truly a lesson. And then third is, what is one thing that I can do this week that proves that that moment is not the final word on who I am? Because here's the bottom line. Short, sweet, simple. You are not your worst day. You are what you do with every day that you have. And as always, guys, love you much.